Beyond Business, Season 2 with your boy Nick Freno. Here to share the stories that are true. From every walk of life, we're diving in deep, unpacking dreams and laughter. It's a journey we'll keep. Guests from near and far with wisdom to unfold. Life paths and journeys, every tale worth gold. So kick back, relax, let's have some fun.
Welcome to Beyond Business. Today's episode is a little bit strange just because typically I have a guest in here to sit with me that is able to answer questions. And as you will see today, my guest is kind of tired, not really able to talk. No, it's been a winter week, as many of you know. So I actually had 3 different pods scheduled this week, and had the first 2 were scheduled because they were on the day of and the day after that the winter storm hit. And then today, Marcos Fuentes had the ribbon cutting at Smackin Tacos, his new restaurant. That was scheduled for lunch today, and we were supposed to go at 2 o'clock, so we just decided to reschedule that whenever he could, come in and enjoy some time rather than it being really hectic because he was slammed. He's an entrepreneur. He's got a slamming business going. His presence is required. It's easy to do that. It's easy to, when you're scheduling out, it's kind of easy to commit to things. And I know, coming from someone who does own their own businesses, things can change last minute, like for real. So, of course, I completely understand that. I just figured we would try to stick to the trend of getting something out here for you guys. The other 2 people that canceled is Miguel Hernandez, who he is the owner of Mi Casa. It either has or is in the process of opening, which we'll get some information from him when he comes in. He's been a buddy of mine for some years, Big Miguel. And Terry Hamill, who is the Decatur's Visitors Bureau, come in, and she's going to come in and just let us know a little bit about what her life experience and her work experience and what she's done in the community for all these years. So we still look forward to rescheduling and getting them back in here. But like I said, next week, I didn't get anyone in here last minute today because next week I have guests coming in Monday through Friday every day, or possibly Monday through Saturday. But either way. Oh, sounds like the guest's going to do his job as security real quick. He'll be back. I want to thank everybody for the first season, or the first 14 episodes of the pod so far. I know I have a few faithful listeners that actually keep in touch with me about it and are anxious for more. I do encourage you. I know it gets old to hear, but whatever platform you're listening on, if you could do me the favor, do us the favor of just subscribe. Nothing happens. You don't get junk emails. All you'll get is an email reminder whenever we put an episode out. This is kind of been a strange week here. I have a 6 and 7-year-old grandchildren and a 14-year-old son. And there's been a lot of prayer sent up after the tragedy that happened here over our, I think it was supposed to be first day back to school or last day of Christmas break, and kids just having fun, and enjoying outside and enjoying an accident happened. And, it's really a tragedy. I know we lost one young man, that I believe is younger than my son. And Charlie is the other young man, and he is currently in the hospital, and they are awaiting his recovery. You don't have to know anyone personally to be able to register the impact of having innocent kids that are just having fun, that accidents happen. I ask that if you are someone out there who watches this, that if you have a line to God, if you have a prayer group, if you are someone who does pray, I encourage you to take the time to send the families of these young men, lift them up in prayer, that they can find the peace in this difficult time, and that Charlie, you could put your hand on him and help him to have a successful, speedy recovery, both physically and mentally. And just put your hand on their parents as they just had life kick them in the ass a little bit. And I'm just really, I'm really sorry for that whole situation. I know there's a lot of us are. They had a candlelight vigil out there a couple nights ago, and the outpouring support was phenomenal. The community is coming together as they always do, and lifting them up, and I think we all know that if you know the families, you do what you can to support them in whatever way that is. But nothing can undo a traumatic situation. If you just take maybe the next minute as I play this video, and whether you just consider the situation or you talk to your God, it would be appreciated. Thank you. And thank you again for joining me here. Again, I encourage you, follow the podcast. We have a really interesting and awesome lineup ahead. We have about 35 guests booked, and it seems like we're booking more daily or weekly. And as you probably have noticed, there's not a set trend. I was going to go once a week or once every other week. But I figured, I know I'm a podcast listener, so it's when we get guests, when they run through a quick edit, they're going to get pushed straight out to you. And we're going to try to minimize most of the edits, but if guests come in and, some of them talk about stuff that they realize later they shouldn't have, then I cut it out, some more than others. Heck, I've whittled a couple 3.5-hour podcast down into an hour because our off topic was very off topic, but it's all part of the deal. I like the idea of it being a relaxed environment to where someone can lay their whole story or whatever on me, and then we can clean it up later on. I do want to take this time to tell you a little bit about myself. I know that whenever I have guests in, I'm kind of trying to find out about them. But as far as some of you do know me, some of you don't. And the ones that do might or might not know what I do for a living. Because obviously this is just something that's entertainment and enjoyment. And it's just a good way to sit down and talk to people, which I will say, one thing I wasn't expecting whenever I decided to jump into this venture of this podcast was I was not expecting to learn like a substantial amount of different things. I mean, I've learned so much from the guests that have came in. just from a life standpoint, mental health standpoint, a business standpoint, a discipline standpoint, just takes on different things, for hearing from different professionals. It's been amazing to me. And if you're someone who is kind of on an entrepreneur's journey, I really encourage you to go back and listen to, I would say 90% of the podcasts that have been recorded. There's some really, really sharp business people with some really good lessons. And those other 10 or 20% are not saying that they're not sharp, but we've also had just career professionals in here too that are really good at their job. And but again, the life lessons and journeys, and I think the common denominator on everyone that's been in, whether they're a career professional who had to work their way to where they're at through schooling and training and whatnot, or entrepreneurs, is hard work prevails. There's no shortcut from that. You can inherit money, and you can inherit what success has done, but you can't inherit being successful or being hungry. So that's something you have to figure out on your own. And I think the biggest lesson learned is that if you're someone out there who you do need guidance, or you've started your own company and you need some type of support system, some type of avenue to be able to sit down and talk or ask questions or ask advice, I think the surprise answer to your question is ask someone in your field, ask another professional, ask someone that you think is your competition, because all successful people and all successful business owners encourage quality competition. There's literally nobody out here doing anything that expects to be the only one doing it. Like, that's not how it works. So all you can do is to hope that you and the other competitors will keep the people who don't know what they're doing out of the market. But in the meantime, you'd probably be impressed. Well, you can learn from not only people that are not necessarily in your niche, but also the people that are. I mean, like I said, that you might consider competitors. You'd probably be surprised what going and taking somebody to lunch and just saying, hey man, here's what I'm dealing with, can you help me? And I think that most people are much, much more receptive than you think. And I know most of the people that I know that I have sat down with have packed themselves with knowledge over their 20, 30 years of grinding, and they would love nothing more than for someone to just ask for advice when they were starting a company, or starting a career path, or starting an education journey, or whatever. I think that's it, is you have to find someone in the field that's doing what you are looking to do and talk to them. That's the only way to not get blindsided if you're someone that wants to start a business. And you don't have to be young. Like, you don't have to be a 20-year-old to start a business. You can be 50-year-old and just tired of your job, and go ahead and get that check cut to you and go put it into something successful. But make sure your idea is exactly that. I think that's what's really hard, is a lot of times when we go in to start a business, we have the tendency of obviously looking at it optimistically, even if it's on paper, because no one's going to go in and start a business that sounds like it's going to fail, and that probably is going to fail, and doesn't believe in it. So obviously when you start it, you're looking at all the pluses. But one thing I can guarantee you, I not only have I own a third generation company, as well as a brand new company. And I will say that there are insane amounts of things that are not considered, and a banker can't give you a checklist to make sure you have it. An accountant can't do it. It's strictly experience. How will you handle and deal with different choices that come your way financially? And we all know when you're starting a business, like the finances is 100% of what counts. But yeah, so if you could sit down and talk to a professional and be able to get some insight on unforeseen situations that could potentially be detrimental to your company, it'd be really nice to know going in. I mean, I had a guy in here who said, if you got $200,000 to invest and you found a $200,000 building, then I would tell you with your $200,000, we should find a $50,000 building because you're going to need the rest of that. And that analogy made perfect sense to me. It's basically going, you can go buy a car for $10,000 with your $10,000, but you can't insure it, you can't put gas in it, you can't put plates on it if you don't have any more money. It's the same thing in business. You have to have money for what keeps it going, for what keeps it moving forward, because money never comes instantly. I mean, it's not a lemonade stand. And even if it is, you still have to buy the lemons and the sugar and the cups and the ice and the pitcher and all that before anyone gives you any money. So maybe it is a lemonade stand. And that being said, I think just like we have, as career folks or entrepreneurs, we know that what we put into a field or a product or a trade or whatever is what you're going to get in return. So if you're a realtor, then you should know what you're talking about before you start having the conversation. And I say that because I don't even know why I said realtor. There's just been some realtors in here. But I'm saying they don't walk into an open house 5 minutes before the first potential buyer walks in and having not seen it and don't know anything about it. Like, they do their homework or they fail. And there's some good people that a lot of these real estate people who are getting their broker's license or a real estate license, you really need to pay attention to some of these people who have been in the game for a while. Again, I know you look at it as competition, and they are, but it's not negative competition. Figure out their strategies, figure out what's worked. You have to ride the current trends, of course, but again, people are more willing to help than you might actually think, because just like what you put into something is what you get out of it with work. When you're working in the field, that's the same thing with people. Most people would love to educate you and help you, and just like they are doing their own employees. If you're an employee of someone, or on a career path to where you're working for an entrepreneur, by all means soak up what they have. I would like to challenge everybody out there, and I'm going to challenge myself also. And this isn't like New Year's resolution or anything like that, but I think finding time to pull ourselves away from our phones, and I'm not saying that social media or our phones I'm not saying any of that is bad. Matter of fact, a lot of it is necessary. I mean, essentially, this is a computer that I carry around. I mean, I can scan, I can fax, I can email, I can video record, photo, I can chat, I can join Zoom meetings. We all know you can do everything with your phone, and you can only do more as the time goes on. Hell, some of you are probably listening or watching this from your phone. But I think having that time that we just shut that down and force your brain to not focus on something there just for like 10 minutes a day, I think finding a bound book or magazine or something that's in your realm of what you would like to do, take some of it in. I would like to challenge everyone to get a little bit more physical, get a little bit more spiritual, get a little bit more mental. We can't just sit here and listen to people who we can't watch Netflix every night and think that it's going to help us improve. A good dose of some binge watching is absolutely healthy now and then, not saying anything other than that. I just mean maybe be a little bit mindful to literally take time for yourself, even if it's not to go over your to-do list, to try to not think about anything. Give your brain a break at a time other than when you're asleep. Try to pick up a bound book and look at before you go to bed. Let your receptors in your brain chill out from the screen of your phone, and I think you might see some improvement. I know I need to, and I will, and I have been actually. And then, yeah, man, I know the weather's bad out now. If you got a gym membership, man, use it. I'm not saying, hey, go get six packed up. I mean, or unless you want to, but I'm just saying, keep in mind that the machine that keeps everything moving is you. And when you get done working hard, the one thing that you do want to be on point, on track, is you. So if you're young, man, start now. If you're not, it's not too late. Let's just try to take care of our temple because we're going to want it to take care of us. Same thing you put into a product to make it better as you put quality. Same thing you put into a student or an employee as you put knowledge, because you want them to be better. Same thing with your body. If you want it to perform as it performs, when you're finally at a spot where you get to do nothing but enjoy what you've done and worked so hard for, then it's time to start taking care of it now. Which I know it's not easy. It's not supposed to be. I think that's it. It's so easy to find what's easy. I think that's kind of a big problem with prescription meds. I think that's a problem with alcohol. I think that's a problem with eating. I think that's a problem with a lot of things. I think it's a problem with iPads, with toddlers, is we find something that is easy. Just an easy thing that it feels better, it passes the time, it doesn't cause any stress at the moment. If anything, maybe it relieves some, and then it turns into something bad. It turns into something that overtakes us unintentionally. So don't be afraid of something that's difficult. Don't be afraid of a little challenge, whether it be against yourself or whether there's people who I know friends who they do Sober October. They're doing the 75-day challenge. They're do something and get out of your norm. If you're not in the place where you want to be, you know exactly why, and you are the only one who is capable of making the decision to be better. So just do it. I mean, yes, it does take a different mindset. Yes, there are going to be people that look at you a little bit different. But I promise no one is going to be able to talk shit and mean it about someone who is doing better for themselves, working harder on themselves. And as hard as it may be for some people to grasp, a lot of times whenever you decide to be better, you're going to stand out from the people you're used to being around, because you usually hang out with the same kind of people that you are. People grow and move on. You can still be friends with the same people you've been friends with for your whole life. Now, should that necessarily be the circle that you're in? Probably not. If you have a desire to grow and to do more, and to learn and to be better, then surround yourself with people who are doing exactly that. Network, you will be surprised by rubbing shoulders with the right people. Not only will you constantly be learning, even in enjoyment, but it pushes you to continue to do better, rather than saying, well, at least I'm doing better than these guys that I'm always around. Which I get it. It's not a competition, but at the end of the day, you know you, and we all are accountable for us, and some of us are accountable for others too. So, yeah, I don't know. I just think self improvement and self health is something that's key. And it's easy to overlook the things that we can do to give ourselves that. And like I said, a little bit of gym, a little walk around the neighborhood, dust off that treadmill, get some resistance bands, choose the salad. Yeah, just take care of yourself, man. Go to the doctor, man. If you're at an age where needs to be certain tests and checks done and you've been putting it off, do it. Let's just stay on top of our health, and because at the end of the day, if you don't have your health, you will not have happiness. That's just how it is. There's no such thing as being on your deathbed joyful. So let's focus on living longer, getting smarter, continually improving, and being kinder. Those good deeds, man, I'm telling you. I think that's it. I usually try to do the good deeds or go out of my way to be nice to the people who would least expect it, or at least I would think they would, and I'm usually right. So, yeah, do that. It's enjoyable. Most of you probably do, actually, but overall, we're all good. I mean, there's a lot of good people out here in this world. It's confusing at times because the world's not so kind at times. But anyway, yeah, I am president of Midwest Lightning Rods, and it is a 97-year-old lightning protection design and installation company. We've been protecting all structures from farm to residential to government to educational to sporting venues to military bases. We've been installing lightning protection on all that stuff for almost 100 years. I personally been doing it for a little over 20 years. In 2017, I bought the company from my father, who retired after he had been doing it for 40 years. Previously from then, it was out of the family for a bit, but my great-grandfather is the one who started it, Everett Klaus, and he started it when the University of Illinois moved over this way, and their insurance policy stated that every structure they erect had to have lightning protection system installed. So he started Midwest Lightning Rods. So years later, we still do probably 85% of the lightning protection over there at the U of I, and their insurance policy still stands to where every structure they erect does have to have a lightning protection system installed. So we are signatory members through the electrical union. I get all my guys that install for me. They're not company. Everyone does get pulled off the bench of whatever local we're working out of, or how it's been going as of late is we get subbed by the electrical contractor, and then they'll usually just provide manpower, and we will provide installation instructions and usually an installer to lead the way. So I do that, and then in 2022 January, I launched Aerial Elite Solutions, which is a drone service provider, to where we originally was started to specialize in the inspection of wind turbine blades, solar fields, do IR solar panel inspections, telecom towers, construction site progressions, rooftop inspections, and all of that good stuff. And in addition, we do live stream for Friday night flights to some of the high schools around the state of Illinois. We also do a lot of real estate work, interior and exterior. So yeah, pretty much anything drone related. Aerial Elite Solutions, I'm the CEO of it, and I am the one to call if you have any drone or photography needs in general. We're just basically drones are just flying cameras. And yeah, they do require a FAA Part 107 pilot license in order to operate for compensation. And rather than having employees, we have a pilot network, and I have currently 32 pilots signed up throughout the United States that are basically freelance contracted pilots for any work I get anywhere. It's kind of how I got on the map of doing it. Was I freelanced for a bit and kind of got my feet wet and got a lot of experience, and you have to have over 500 flight hours, logged flight hours in a lot of these situations, and I waited till I had like 1,200 to do my thing. So it was an experience deal. But yeah, so those are the two businesses I own. What made me start the drone company is I was getting to the point where I was going to inspect the rooftop lightning protection system installation for Midwest Lightning Rods. And it was walking around taking a lot of photos, and it kind of hit me that if we could have a bird's eye view or something like that, that would be nice. And this was a little bit before drones were really popping. But I had got my son, who was way too young for a drone at the time. I had got him a camera drone for Christmas and immediately confiscated it, went over and flew it on campus to take some bird's eye view pictures, and was quickly notified by the campus police that that was illegal. That is when I educated myself on finding out that you do, in fact, have to have a federal aviation Part 107 license in order to operate a drone. So in the process of looking into getting that license, I seen that on the horizon it was going to be to where drones were going to be doing a whole lot. And I wanted to get involved. So Midwest Lightning Rods was doing good enough that I decided to invest in myself. It's still up in the air on if that was the right decision or not. I do really enjoy it. But it is a very competitive world, and locally I'm all good, and I'm actually the pilot, or my company is the pilot for all of the large like worldwide drone companies. I kind of copied how they do it. Is there's not a bunch of employees, there's just a bunch of private pilots that do work. So I am competing against people who do worldwide work. However, I also fly for them. So yeah, it's one of them things that just as often as your phone goes out of style or whatever, you have to update every 2 years. Same thing with drones. So yeah, if you're going to drop $6 or $7 grand or up to 30, 40 grand on a drone, you better make sure you can make your money back on it in the next 2 years, because it's going to be worthless as far as being a workhorse once them 2 years come. So again, that was another thing that I jumped into and learned that there were a lot of unforeseen hoops that needed to be jumped through. So I spent the first year of the company doing a lot of freelance work, building the company name up, getting certified and licensed in every drone thing you could possibly get. So yeah, it was, essentially a year of not only not making any money, but also not planning on it. So yeah, just make sure whatever you decide to do, just plan. There's always going to be stuff you don't plan for, even if you talk to people. However, minimizing that is key. And yeah. So yeah, that's what I do for a living. Well, I don't really have a whole lot else. I just wanted, like I said, get on here and at least acknowledge that I have missed a little bit, because I was planning on having a few episodes I was going to be kicking out this week. But yeah, Mother Nature and big things opening got in the way a little bit. But yeah, coming up next week, we got some really, really solid guests coming in. Matter of fact, I'll let you know who they are right now, and then we'll see when it comes if we had any no-shows. So it looks like on Monday I got Colby Geiser, Clean Cut Painting and Handyman Services, I believe, is the name of the company. Which, if you haven't seen their trucks around and their signs around town with clean cut painting, then you haven't been paying attention, because they're everywhere. Then we got Blake Reynolds is coming in, which I've been looking forward to this. He's a Main Place guy, Mount Zion coach. Head of that, the Mount Zion CEO youth deal. That's going to be cool to sit down with him. Again, we had a meeting. I think we had to move it around because we both double scheduled or something like that. Wednesday, we got Coach Josh Jostis from Maroa, which we went to the same school. He was older than me, so I never officially went to school with him, but I have known him forever. He coached my nephews, and I coached one of his boys in baseball years ago. And so, yeah, we're going to catch up and talk about how he has built a freaking amazing football program in a small town that just keeps growing and keeps dominating and keeps doing big things. He's got to be really proud of himself, and I'd like to see what he's got cooked up next. I know he's about to have, I think his youngest child is maybe a senior. So will Jostis stay, or will he go collegiate, or will he just go? We will see. Or at least I'll ask. Then on Thursday, we're going to have former state's attorney Jay Scott is going to come sit down. Which he lived a life of being a prosecutor for the state, and I know he's got some amazing stories, which that'll be really cool. And then on Friday we have Oakwood Screen Printing's Michelle Brackett is going to come in, and we're going to chat with her about her hustle and grind to become the most famous T-shirt maker in town. And I know she is camera shy, so she was like not really looking forward to it, or was reconsidering maybe. And somehow I so far tricked her into it. We'll see if she backs out. And then Sunday I got Brian Damry, who is a high school teacher for 25 years. So we're going to get him in here and have him probably defend me talking crap about teachers, but I wasn't, bro. I was talking crap about them not paying you guys more. I think you guys have the best job ever. Not the most desired, but one of the most important. So we will make sure he knows that when he gets in here. And then, then we got, then we roll into next week where we got Zach Keck, then Miguel Hernandez, then we got Matt Crawford. So we got a lineup stacked. It's going to be good. We got Courtney Carson on the horizon, Reed Sullivan, Jordan Maxey, Tommy Hayes, Isaiah Bradford, Corda Stitt. Matter of fact, DJ Chaz. And I'm not going to read through everybody. That's just going to be ridiculous. But I do know that I got my man Lil Frank. Frank Winnington is going to be coming up on March 1st. Either he's coming up or I'm going there. And I'm only saying that, Frank, because I don't know if you want people to know you're coming. So I can lie if you need me to. But either way, wherever we do it from, Lil Frank's going to be on the podcast. You guys most of you know Little Frank. If you don't, he's a hell of a guy. And when I say I've known this dude my whole life, like we didn't even realize it. But yeah, our parents were really close friends when we were kids. So we used to run around barefoot outside together, kicked out into the front yards while our parents smoked dope in the house. Those were the 80s, baby. That was great times. But yeah, it's got an exciting lineup. It'll keep changing. And I mean, it'll keep. The guests seems like they're not stopping. There are a few people I want to pop back in. I know, so there'll be bonus episodes for that. But overall, I'm excited. This is something I'm doing, like I said, just for fun. And I think I catch myself up in work so much that now I've made sure that I'm scheduling myself. This is my social hour, or hours when I have company. But as you see, my guest today is, he ain't said a word. I literally been talking him to sleep. It's a dang shame. Hey, thanks guys, for joining in for this one and for all of the podcasts that you've taken time to listen to. It means a lot, man. If you feel like you know someone who could get something out of it, forwarded their way. I know that I don't know what platform you're listening to this or watching it on, but it is available on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, on the audio, and then the video and audio are available on YouTube as well as Spotify. Just Beyond Business or Beyond Business 217. Well, if I named any guests that are coming on this podcast and you're like, ooh, I really wish when this person came on that he just named, and you might have to listen back because I don't remember who all I just named. But if I named anyone that you really have something that you wish I would ask them or bring up, then by all means, let me know. But the only way I'm going to do it is if you have to email it over to beyondbusiness217@gmail.com. I'm not doing all the social media messenger. I'm not doing that. Just if you want to communicate about the show, if you want me to have somebody on that you feel like you should be a guest, or you have a question that you want me to ask a guest that's coming on, whether it be anonymously or for you, then please don't hesitate. Or if you have like a video message that you want to give to one of my guests that are coming on, by all means, beyondbusiness217@gmail.com. Hey, thank you all again for being a part of this and for joining me today. And for me and my guest Vato. Hold on, he's got an itch. You all right? We say thank you. Be kind. We'll see you on the next one.
Beyond business, where the stories flow. Life's a crazy ride, come on, let's go. From the ups and the downs, we'll laugh and we'll learn. With host Nick Freno, it's your turn to discern. Beyond business, take a seat, take a chance. Let's explore the past, come join the dance. Beyond business, where the stories flow. Life's a crazy ride, come on, let's go. From the ups and the downs, we'll laugh and we'll learn. With host Nick Freno, it's your turn to discern. Beyond business, take a seat, take a chance. Let's explore the past, come join the dance. Hey!